Thanks for joining me for a Kick Up the Arts. I am Nicola Meehan, and my special guest on this episode is a woman, an icon, whose brilliant debut album sounded like nothing else when it hurtled into our musical landscape 35 years ago. And there really is still nothing like it. The record is The Same Sky, the artist is The Mighty Horse. And since that calling card in 1990, she has raised the roof and fired up our hearts with LPs like God's Home Movie and The Road Less Travelled. She shared a stage with Burt Bacharach, toured with Tina Turner, and we chatted about all of that and about her early days making music with former Horse collaborator Angela McAlinden. We also celebrated, 35 years of The Same Sky, and we looked forward to our Celtic Connections show, which is later this month. It's at Glasgow Barrowlands in cahoots with the Scottish Chamber Orchestra, 3 decades since their first groundbreaking union at that legendary venue. We recorded this chat live at the Stand in Edinburgh a few months ago. Thank you so much if you were in our joyous audience. Horse played 3 live songs for us too. You Could Be Forgiven and Sweet Thing. I can't include the full versions because there are so many rights issues around music and podcasts that I'm worried that the episode will get taken down if I push my luck. But if you stay for our chat, then you'll also hear Horse signing off with a stunning a cappella version of Careful. Everything falls into place. How are you?
I'm just going to calm down for 5 minutes.
There was a lot of traffic, and truth be told, none of us really knew if we were going to get here.
Just about 25 minutes ago, we were in St James's Quarter car park going round in circles going, how do we get out of here?
I went and met a horse, and I still had my clipboard. Let's see how many times I actually even look at this thing. By the way, I do try to prepare. We tend
You're
to
as
get...
bad as me, you go off piste very often.
No, exactly. But I ran across the road and tried to meet Horse and lovely Victoria by the bus station, and I felt like your driver or something.
It sounds like a
no,
song.
Hello. I know. No songwriting on stage. Focus, right? Let's just chat. We are going to chat for, well, we need to be out of here about 3ish, so we'll chat till then.
I think it's Paul Sinha that's next.
Yes, he is.
Can hold the doors.
Yeah, quite. I know. This is the Fringe, though. This is what happens. So we're going to chat about The Same Sky and goodness knows what else. And we won't necessarily speak about every track. We'll try and cover a lot of the essence of it in the story, or we'll be here for weeks and months.
The album itself lasts about an hour. So.
It does. But since you started with that song, you started with You Could Be Forgiven. You know, even listening to it now, and it's a song that I've been listening to since, as we've just established, frighteningly, 35 years, which
when
is
you were
wild.
5.
I wasn't even born. But yes, you know, that long. You sometimes forget until you hear it in a different context how radical that song is in a way. And the song, the structures of so many of your songs are fascinating, right? This song comes like hurtling into the Scottish musical landscape, and it's like where's the verse, where's the chorus, where are you taking us next?
I think the musicians say the same thing when they're rehearsing. Literally, when I come in with another song, it's like, oh.
But it is that even musically, you know, when you released The Road Less Travelled last year, I thought, you know, musically you've kind of always done that as well. Where can we go in this song next, right?
If it, you know, you go where the song takes you, and if that works, then just do that. Even though the band are like, what? I usually win. Occasionally I'm wrong. But
at what point did that come in the sort of story of the album? Something like Forgiven. Like, were there particular songs that were early on in the?
I think if you ask any artist, any writer, how they get to a certain place, the finished article does not bear witness to the hell that is making an album.
Exactly.
The people you have to work with, the accountants, the record labels, the fights. We had no management particularly, so it was an absolute nut. And I was like thrown to the wolves basically when we first put the album out. What you said, I really appreciate what you said about Forgiven, because around the time that Forgiven came out, it was all, the music that was around was wet, 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 very poppy, and we were just nothing like anyone else. Sure. So I think sometimes being different doesn't actually help.
No. And when you say you were thrown to the wolves, marketing-wise, you were as well. You were so wrong-footed so early on, and I don't necessarily want to particularly labour that point because this is a celebration. But by the same token, it's important to say that, you know, that album was incredible, has utterly, you know, if anything, just gained in resonance over the decades. But it could have been so much more.
but they didn't.
There were so many mistakes.
They didn't know what to do, which is an awful thing to say.
I think the main thing is record labels don't really know what they're doing, and it was probably there was more of a system of what happens. This is what you do with the record. This is where it goes. This is how we do it. This is how we play it. But with us, they didn't. It began as a political nightmare. Right. We signed to a guy called Simon Potts, who started Capitol in the UK. So we were signed to Capitol, which was a thrill in itself. But Simon Potts was a real Svengali. I am a superstar, long blonde hair and a bit of an arse, frankly. To say that he lives in Hawaii now and sells surfboards probably says everything.
We're doing a live stream to him. Hi. So pleased to hear from your horse.
But anyway, so to begin with, so then because the Capitol was in the UK, they were nursemaided and looked after by EMI, who hated Simon Potts. Mm-hmm. So you're immediately in a difficult situation. Yeah. Oh, you're with them? No, we're not. So it's a very difficult situation.
It's like othering at every single turn. And of course, you were such a striking vocalist, but because of your sexuality, your androgyny, and this was like unknown at the time. You're just getting on and being this incredible voice. There was no focus on the voice, which was the key bloody thing.
All I wanted to do was sing and make music, and I was just thrilled to bits to get signed, and it didn't go the way I would have hoped or wanted. And it just felt like I was constantly, we were just kind of sidelined a lot of the time, and not really. If they'd put money in, or I look at photographs of myself and go, look all right, actually.
Exactly. But certainly the album had such an identity, and the way it starts, I find increasingly fascinating. Okay, so And She Smells. So it's like, here's a new album. And it's, first of all, it's like, here's an ellipsis at the start. So we're not even starting with a letter in the title, right? We're obviously, what I've loved about that is you're bringing us in, right? You're halfway through a sentence, and she smiled.
I do that all the time.
Right.
And they're like, should it not be capitals? And also, Steve, a lot of people might remember Steve Shane from Berkeley, dearly beloved Steve Shane. He used to go, Horsey says, but what's the song? Because it's not in the title. And it's like, that's such a mistake commercially, not to put the title in the song.
But also, not only that, so we don't start with a letter, we start with these three kind of little dots, and then we get halfway through a sentence, and she smelled. And then you don't even start with a word, you start with this, I don't know what you want to call it, a primal scream, an absolute cry of outroar, this joyous whoop, right? It's like, this is the way into a record.
It was not a joyous whoop, I can assure you. I remember Pete Smith going, oh no, you just, now, go for it, and I was like, what am I, whoa! So I just did this yell thing. But the band... It's so funny. We were at a festival the weekend, and they laugh because they all go, whoa! They all do this. And I was off stage, and somebody was checking my mic. I think it was Lorne, I don't know, but all I heard was like, oh! And I went straight over to James. I went, I don't want the track in my ears. And he went, that's Lorne. I was like, oh, right, okay.
But it's a fascinating way to start a record again.
But the confidence. It's interesting, that's the first time I let go in a song. Just
really?
Like, and so much of I was so excited about singing, enjoying my singing. And then, of course, you'd probably mention this anyway if I don't do it. We signed our deal. We did Forgiven first, and we recorded it to try out different producers. And then when we finally got in to do the album, I knew something was wrong with my voice. I just knew it. I was like, oh. And it was like I didn't want to say to anybody. I didn't say to anybody.
You just hope it'll go away, right?
Yeah, and I was
not your voice.
well, I was able to. And some of the singing stuff you see from gigs and things. The bottom line is when you are playing in smaller places, the drums should never be louder than you. But, at the end of the day, you end up singing above what you're hearing. Right. And I'd obviously spent years doing that, having to really sing loud. And so I thought, this doesn't feel right. And we were in a little studio called Picnic in Kent. And we were starting to routine and record the album. And I said to Mike Eade, who was working with us, I said, I need to go and see somebody. There's something wrong with my voice. So we went to see a doctor. The doctor said, no, you need to go to a specialist. So we went to a specialist. I was sitting there, the laryngoscope and all this, and she went, oh yeah, you got a node in your left vocal cord. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just carry on recording the album and it'll be all right. And then I'll have the operation. She went, no, you need to do that now. I was like, oh my God. So you've signed a record deal, you're all excited, and you have to go back and tell the producer and the band. And for me, singing is everything. And I think the other thing that happened was the awareness that my voice was more than just someone that sings.
Yeah.
Your whole identity when you speak and you communicate with people, it's so important.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a way of getting a lot of angst out. Never mind, Anne, she smiled. But we went in, I'll try and keep this short. I know we don't have a lot of time. But we went into the studio and I said to Pete, I've got a real problem. I need an operation. And he was like, oh, fuck. Bloody hell. Sorry, I'm swearing. You need to
Swearing's allowed.
Beep. Beep. I was like, oh my God. And he went, oh, all right, I'll go in also and I'll run the track down to you. So I put the headphones on and not feeling very confident. No. And he ran the track down to me. And of course, like you said, I knew all was lost and I couldn't sing. I was like, and he said, and he did it twice. The first time I couldn't see him. And then it was a bit like this, this kind of environment. Couldn't see him. And then he goes, I'll run it down to you again, Holst. And I was like, okay. And he ran the track down to me and I just, oh God, no. And I could all see was his hands on the desk and his head going like this and the band all standing behind him. And he went, I thought I booked Holst, but I got Tom Waits.
Oh God.
And I was just like gutted. He went, what are we going to do?
God, yeah.
What are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. We need to record maybe while I'm away. And he went, all right, that's what we'll do. I'll speak to a record company. So I went into that little bedroom and cried my eyes out and just was like...
So you then, how did that come, your voice, thankfully, thank goodness, spoiler alert, voice came back. So yeah, quite. So did you then go in and, So
I was not allowed to sing for 2 whole months and I wasn't allowed to utter any sounds, not even whistle for 10 days. And then when it was time I went in and saw a woman I was doing, Maggie Cotter, famous Maggie Cotter singing vocal coach. And we just literally did a couple of warm-up exercises. That was all. Went to the studio and I thought, and I'd lost a lot of the bottom end of my notes and I'd gained a lot at the top. And I was scared to push it too much. But he had me in 5 hours at a time singing, so obviously the recovery was quite fast. But I've got all of it back now.
Yeah.
So I've got high, I've got low.
That's incredible. That idea of your voice, which has been, my God, a hard-won fight in so many ways. And, you're absolutely right. And you have said in the past as well that singing in many ways, saved your life. So to suddenly have that taken away.
It was brutal, absolutely brutal. And whenever I worry about my voice or I need to do things and something goes wrong, like I hacked my voice to hell at that festival and I've been worrying about singing today because I'm not a teenager anymore. The recovery is probably longer and I'm looking at all the different things I have to do and I think I need to prepare more instead of just throwing myself into situations.
When you were younger, like the voice you have, were you listening to records with these? Because there are 2 things at play. There's the kind of, or maybe more, but you've got a really kind of classic pop melody and driving sense, even if there isn't a structure that's traditional verse and chorus, right? And a lot of the times the arrangements are, absolutely rounded and round your voice. And you've got this huge voice. So there's something quite dramatic about that. And I wondered if, when you were little, like who were that? Was it kind of like the Torch songs? Was it the big bands? Because all of those seem to feed into it. It came to pop music, but it feels rooted in lots of other things. Opera as well, maybe.
Well, I can't remember who it was that said that my voice has elements of Sturm und Drang, which is an operatic phrase, which means I think storm and drama maybe. But I think a lot of your influences are very subliminal. But I can clearly see now my dad would listen to opera or classical music and it was in the house, very grand Beethoven and really high opera and stuff. But we weren't really allowed to listen to the radio, but occasionally when my dad was out, my mum would have the radio on, so I was hearing pop music, but also on television were those incredible shows, Shirley Bassey, Cilla Black,
Yes.
Dusty Springfield.
You hear it?
So it's in there.
Yeah.
I feel I've got, and I was a huge fan of Wizard and Sparks and various other very current pop from the 70s. So you mix all of that up, I can think you can see where it...
Completely.
Yeah, and the thing is, it is pretty... When I write a song, it's built around my voice. So when I'm singing, it's and I think the better I get as a musician, although it's pretty low.
If there's been a running theme this week, it's that Scots are very self-deprecating. Justin Curry sat there and was like, I'm not really very good at writing lyrics. I'm not really very good at writing melodies either. And we're getting it with Horse. Right. It's like, it's just the way we are. You just have to be like that.
I think we'd rather be like that than the opposite.
Exactly.
Don't you know who I am? Keep Paul at the door. I'm not ready.
It's so true.
It is true.
While we're naming names slightly, you've mentioned a few influences there. There are just a couple of names, and then we'll go back to some of the songs on the album. First of all, Angela McAlinden. Okay, when and where did you first meet her? And what was it about that dynamic which just absolutely struck a chord, not just with us, but with the two of you?
There was a kind of almost merging in terms of our writing skills. It's a very long story, and it will be in my book.
Excellent. That's what I'm waiting for.
I know, honestly, it makes... you hear me talking. I mean, the book's going to be about 100 paragraphs long, pages long. But anyway, I was doing stuff with a guy called Sandy Ash, who was the campus straight man I've ever come across. And he was silly, he was flamboyant, but, if nothing else, he had ambition.
Okay.
Not a lot of skill. And I think we did a couple of gigs locally together, and I was horrified because he never rehearsed.
Oh, really?
And I'm going, but I don't know the chords to that. And he's like, it'll be fine. And you're standing in a place you don't know going, this is awful. And we spent more time deciding what we were going to wear, which was hideous boiler suits, white boiler suits.
Really?
I'm actually back in now, so,
Boiler suits.
White boiler suits with a wee thing scribbled on.
Sort
But
of
anyway,
like a Devo kind of a thing, or?
he loved Devo.
Okay.
Yeah. And the early Roxy music and things like that. So anyway, I was doing stuff with him, and then he said, we're meeting these couple of guys coming up in a cafe, and he'd put an advert in the Melody Maker or the NME looking for other musicians. And Bill, Angela's cousin, answered, and Angela, and we met them. And very, very quickly he just fell away because he wasn't prepared to rehearse. And so the three of us went off and began to work. And we started off doing some originals, each of our own originals. And they loved the Rolling Stones. There was quite a lot of Rolling Stones covers. And then eventually it was just our songs. Trying to think, I think maybe the first song we wrote together was And She Smiled.
Wow.
And
really?
I found it, I didn't mark any pages off on this, but I found it somewhere.
This is amazing.
It smells of old storage spaces. I'll see if I can find it, but there's a bit somewhere where it's you can actually see the set list.
Wow. Okay.
And And She Smiled is on it.
What's this Culture Club ticket? Sorry, this is us now, by the way. You're even here.
We supported Culture Club.
What's that Culture Club ticket? Yeah.
There's their autographs, like.
This is brilliant.
But so this is, and that's them there. I met Helen Terry there, who's still a friend of mine.
That's
in the Church of the Poison
Oh,
Mind.
I know. What a voice, by the way.
Oh,
Seriously.
she's amazing. Anyway, I can't find it, but it'll be in one of them. That's after we were on the tube, the letters we got. Anyway, yes, these...
In the book, by the way.
Fascinating things. I've forgotten what you asked me now.
No, you were
Angela.
about Angela, and because, obviously, especially particularly on that album, it's that you've referenced it. It's like that writing, dynamic on the first record.
We ended up getting into a sort of system where I came across all my old cassettes, so there must be some gems on that.
Oh, wow.
But I came across all my old cassettes, and I would just basically sing into these, and she'd take them away. She was quite...
I daren't say.
Right
I don't
brain,
know.
very right brain, very kind of methodical. And she would take all the ideas and she'd go, I'm going to do that one, this one, that one. And off she'd go. And I'd go, okay. Sometimes she took so long to write them. And she used to have a phrase which I think is incredible. She would say, if you spent too long on lyrics, they smelled of the lamp.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine somebody sitting for hours.
How Victorian. This is
honestly,
wonderful.
her words, she's such a wordsmith, amazing.
Wow.
But what I found was I poured my life and soul into these melodies. They already had meter and sounds and things, which meant she had to stick to that. So she was incredible. And she would come back, and we also used to say that, you would hand her a red-haired baby and it would come back with dark hair. And I would have to ingest it. I'd have to ingest the idea again and then sing it that it felt like mine.
Okay.
I've got a good example. She took so long sometimes that we would go in and my old ideas, my old sounds would come out because she hadn't finished the lyrics.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what this song was. But anyway, years ago after this, it was like, I think it ended up being Will You Not. I was singing Will You Not, but a woman came up to me and I loved that song, Woolly Hats. And I was like, Woolly Hats? She went, yeah. I said, how does it go? I went, oh, God. So you think the audience haven't a clue, but actually you do. You're wiser than that.
And we take what we need from the music. That's something that you must have heard so many times over the years,
yeah.
And I think particularly when obviously there's loads of tour dates, by the way, you're playing the road, the road less travelled. You've been doing that as well. The Same Sky.
We'll slip a few of those in because I quite like them.
The Same Sky and the celebration of that and speaking about it. So there's loads of chances and we'll all go together, hopefully. But I did, it always strikes me how much people want to tell you how much the music means to them. And so when we decided to do this and her said, yeah, I'd love to come and have a blend.
Nobody dared ask me any questions.
Yeah, but a few people sent them to me, which is lovely, including someone called Kathy, who messaged me. So Kathy, I know you're not here, but thank you so much. But you'll be listening on the podcast saying, I'm so sad to be missing today. The Same Sky changed my life, allowed me to see and be myself. And in light of the song that you played, and it allowed me to forgive myself as well. That idea of you could be forgiven can be as much an internal message as an external one, right? The songs can change and we can take from them what we need. We're going to end with one that is absolutely that. No spoilers yet, but it can change, but we have such a close relationship with these records and these songs.
It happens all the time. I mean, even at that festival, people come up to me and they want me to hear this.
Yes.
That there's a woman from Scotland, and we finished the festival, and it was just a very kind of quick saying hello to people, and she went, but you don't understand, you changed my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh, that's really nice, thanks. But I don't mean that in a disingenuous way.
No.
It's like people are determined to tell me that.
Yeah.
Which means that I take very seriously what I do. It's very important. There's been a few recent ones which have really moved me. Something at an occasion at the Pavilion, and my tour manager, Cam, was like, I heard that, I had to walk away. A poor woman had been through hell and back, and the music meant so much. She could hardly speak. And the thing is, I feel like I've been blessed with something which means a lot to other people, and I don't take it lightly.
Yeah. Was music like that for you? When you were, because you found your voice and that almost became your shield, your solace, like quite young, you had a really, really hard time growing up. But was there other music, or was it actually, in fact, expressing it that...
I think expressing it, because I began to write quite early on when I was 12 or 13. Absolutely ridiculous, horrible songs. Not very good. But it meant I'd be sitting in my back bedroom singing my wee heart out. And I know my brother's here somewhere. So I shouldn't be telling some of these stories.
Right, come on, spill the tea wherever you are. See you afterwards upstairs. There's going to be merch, by the way, upstairs after, so hang about.
Like, I would be sitting... like a wounded animal in the back bedroom, and I would stop slightly for whatever reason, and I'd go... You could hear the floor creaking.
Oh, lovely.
And I'd be like that Kevin and Perry teenager going, go away! Stop! Don't listen to me! So, I was no different from anybody else. Like, it's a strange thing. It's a dichotomy. You want people to hear you, but you're also shy and embarrassed about what you're singing about.
Because there's a vulnerability as well. There absolutely has to be.
That's the best music. where it comes from your heart.
When you play something like Sweet Thing, and particularly when you're inhabiting the guitar parts as well, like, was there a point at which you remember that coming to life? Like, were you sitting somewhere? Because sometimes people have a moment where, I know the songs, I don't want to go, where does the song come from? That's too much of an abstract subconscious thing. But you can usually pinpoint a moment where something, the spark, comes to life.
I do. I mean, I don't remember a lot of it because some of it's quite old. But I do. This is not Same Sky, it's God's Home Movie. I remember exactly where I was sitting when I was writing God's Home Movie.
Really?
I remember exactly where I was. I thought, I must go and write songs, and I went to a friend's flat in Glasgow, West End of Glasgow, went and sat there, locked myself in for the whole day. I'm sitting in a high stool facing a mirror. I don't know why. Just the way it was. Anyway, yeah. And that song, to me, that song handed over to Angela. She just created a masterpiece. In terms of Careful, there was a fight between somebody and Careful. Somebody became a B-side, but for me, I wanted it to be an A-side.
That's interesting. Okay.
Somebody was one of the oldest songs. I think it was written in 1975 or something.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the oldest songs. And people love that song because it's a...
That's my clock. I need to have that.
Oh.
I'm listening. It's fine. Just
You did
ignore
that
me.
deliberately so we could have another 15 minutes and keep Paul out.
I know, exactly. Oh, sorry, Paul, my clock broke. My phone is going to die. Yeah.
So I forgot what I was saying. I was distracted.
Careful, and somebody. Somebody was.
There was a fight
written-
between them.
Right.
Well, there was a fight between them. In those days, we have to. It was very structured, and you have to do this, and it has to be only so many, and you're like, okay. So somebody lost out, but it became a B-side, which people really, really love.
Yeah, and also sometimes you hold it closer, right? It feels a bit precious because it's like, is this a little bit unsung? And we all kind of look after an underdog a little bit, I think. Noticing that the time is as it is, we've got a few questions. Have you? I know.
How did that happen?
Time flies. But here's a big one for you from the wonderful Maggie. Maggie Murphy,
I remember Maggie.
Legend. If you could change anything about your career, what would it be and why?
There's a big one. I wish I didn't care what people thought all those years ago.
Back in at this time, basically, yeah, when you're starting.
I wish I didn't care so much, and because it was brutal. The whole journey was brutal. And I kind of wished that there had been a tipping point then, if not for me, but for all the songs. Right. So I've not given up yet, still going, but it just feels to me like we were robbed a little bit. There was Postcard in Glasgow. There was all these cliques or kinds of music, and we didn't fit in, whether it was because of what I looked like or who I was. I was a gift. Yeah, I feel that I was a gift, and it just feels we were robbed, and I feel sorry for the band, Angela and myself as writers. I don't feel that and I think there's a lot of misogyny involved.
Yes,
we were
no doubt
key. The songs, Angela and I's songs are really good songs, and they mean so much to other people, and not to be identified as great songwriters from the canon of Scottish writing feels a bit like we were robbed, but I'm still here. Yeah. And I think it's not happened yet, the tipping point, but I'm working on it.
Absolutely right. I just need a cheer back. We need to celebrate this stuff. We need to. Long overdue. A lot of men running the industry and literally not knowing what to do with absolute talent, but where do we put that in a box? What box are we going to put
we
in,
were
right?
the first. We were actually a gigging working band.
Right, yeah.
Women fronted. And it just... I don't think we were taken seriously by our fellow artists. So,
but the change you would make, because the music absolutely stands, the voice stands, the legacy stands, but the way you internalised and coped with that, you would change that.
I think if there was a tipping point that should have happened, we were touring Germany with Tina Turner. We had Sweet Thing out as a single, and it was going incredibly well. We were in the charts in Germany. And the Americans decided to pull us out to go to America.
Really?
Yeah. and it's like there was one guy, I can't remember his name now. He had a big handlebar moustache, very Bavarian, and it's like you stay in Germany, Horst, you a big hit, big stars, and it didn't happen. We were brought back to the UK, and we were supposed to go out to the States, and then I keep saying this, but the Gulf War happened, and no Americans or no one travelled anywhere. So that moment in time, that sliding doors moment.
It's fascinating though that someone just decides. Because it's like you put money into something or you don't. People hear it or they don't. But you know what I absolutely love? I love that maybe it wasn't like at the forefront of our consciousness because the money wasn't put in, which you need to get it on the radio, to promote it, to get you out on tour. But we found it, right? And we're still finding it. And you're still, every time I come to a gig, which is frequently, there's new audiences. There are people who are just discovering, not just you, but that record even now. And it's a revelation, the same sky.
People still come up to me. I mean, women came up to me. Where were we playing? Straven, we're playing at the Frets in Straven, and this woman came up to me and goes, I am so sorry. She said, I've only just discovered you.
Oh.
She says, but I've been spending the last 2 months listening to your music and I love it. And I was like, okay, thank you.
This is brilliant. Confession.
You're not on the radio.
Wonderful.
You're not on television. And I think that's the biggest problem, that to get a bigger audience, my music is commercial. So it should be in that platform, but
that's it. You weren't being willfully obtuse in any way.
No.
In any way whatsoever.
Well, I do remember, like, in terms of like what I looked like, I remember we were up for one of those children's television shows, and we were all excited. We did what was the one? I met Gabby Roslin on one of the TV shows, but there was this major show, and they actually put on. This makes me very angry. We were supposed to go on it, and the producer, this woman, said, "Oh no, we can't have that in front of children," as in me.
Oh my God!
We can't have that in front of our children. And I was like, and yet she put the video for the Lambada was on that same time that we were supposed to go on. Have you seen the video for the Lambada? It's shocking.
One scene never forgotten. But it's horrible, and this othering absolutely horrifies me, because you've spoken before about there being effectively a marketing campaign. What is horse? Or like that is not going in front of
What is it? Right? A man or a woman?
Or that is not going on our screens. It's like it's a fact that it's like literally dehumanizing. And if you're, the chances are most people who write very, very beautiful songs are by definition and nature then very, very, very sensitive. You can't not be. What that must have been like for your identity is shocking.
But even just like the marketing, any marketing there was, I'd go, well, I'm not very girly. I just want to wear suits. So instead of having Armani or whatever, some stylist went out and got some ugly suits and things, and we made our videos, and I looked hard. Yeah. I looked unapproachable. So I think when you look at that and you don't see the person, it's just not marketed very well, and it might be a different ball game now, but but I do love that nonetheless it didn't, because that could just completely floor you. That could just did. Right. Like we would wait. I mean, in those days, I think it's still the same. The chart positions come on the Sunday evening, and no one knows before it. It's a carefully guarded secret. It's the Fridays now, but that was it. It used to be. It used to be the Sunday. Yeah, that's and right. you would be sitting waiting, and you thought, we're getting up, and you went to 40. 40 was the golden number. You pass go, you collect £200, you go on television shows, radio, blah, blah, blah. I met James Grant. James Grant, I think, is very... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Big love. James and I are very... I feel we're quite in a parallel world, the two of us. And he goes, you were on Top of the Pops, though, weren't you? And I was like, no, I wasn't. He said, were you not? I said, were you not on Top of the Pops? He went, no. Do you know, and that's funny, I can almost visualise either of you on it, but that's because, and you can imagine hearing the songs and seeing the songs, is that right? So no Love and Money or no Friends Again or no James Grant on Top of the Pops either. Nor me. Shocking. And no horse. No, what we did to the Tube, that was stunning. That was... I look at that now and go, look at the stage. For God's brilliant. Sake. It's amazing. You can find it online. So nervous. Really? Well, met Polly Yates as well. What a character. But we went the week before and Black were on. Oh, nice. My God. Wonderful. Oh, I loved that stuff. And they were on the week before, so we got to see that. And then the day we were there, they said, well, do camera rehearsal, blah, blah. And you looked at the Tube on the telly, it looked huge. But in Newcastle, it was just like a tiny place. And you're like, oh, is this it? But anyway, going to do a camera rehearsal. And I was like, fine. So they just brought out a couple of cameras and I thought, that's fine. Oh my God. It was like, ladies and gentlemen, and she was eating a pizza. She was going, and I thought, that's rude. And the guy just went, 3, 2, 1, and off we went. And I was like, this is your moment. This is your big moment. A bus of friends and family came down to us, and they were all in the front row, all excited for it. It was the most amazing thing. Nothing happened. Tumbleweed.
Really?
Well, no, the switchboards were jammed because we didn't have computers in those days. Yeah. And so people were phoning up, and on the Monday, somebody from the programme said, you can deal with all this. We've had enough now. Because people kept going, who are they?
Yeah, quite.
Wasted.
Which is a much better question than what is. You know, it's like, who are they?
I still get some of the letters that people send.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? After that performance? And being on the telly is wonderful. Shall we go to the lovely
Stephen,
man who had his hand up? Because
there he is.
Lara, if there's
he needs no microphone, probably.
Let's have the mic anyway, because you got the floor now.
Can I just say, Horse, I just love listening to you share, because you're such a great sharer.
Thank
and
you.
we feel like we are sharing your journey with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm scared. What's this question going to be?
Right. When was your very worst moment in your career, followed by your very best moment ever?
Have you got an hour? You could
Lock
use
the
him.
doors.
He's got useful information. Don't you? The very worst? Well, I guess it has to be losing my voice or having my operation. And, that was frightening. And it just completely destroyed me. It took me a long time to recover from it. I don't have one best. I do not. I've got amazing moments watching Tina Turner at the side of the stage performing, watching her routine, the poor drummer. I can't remember, somewhere in Germany, and the original drummer, his wife was having a baby, so he had to step in and dip. Can you imagine? Like, you think that's follow music? No. She wanted them to do certain things, at certain dance moves they had to, and she was like, no, like this. And we're like, and he's like, she's like, no, like this. And you're like, oh my God, she was amazing. That was one really lucky moment, because we were looked after in Germany by EMI Electrola, and Irf, the boss, was Tina's boyfriend. So when the tour came up, he suggested us. So that was one moment that was very lucky. Oh God, there have been so many moments, many moments. Meeting people like Burt Bacharach. Lots of amazing stuff.
It's also maybe a bit like writing songs, in that the best moments to come, the next song, the best songs to come. You know, there always has to be that forward-looking momentum as well, right?
Yeah.
You have to have that sort of sense of hope as well. And
well, it's like I don't prepare what I'm going to say when I go on stage, and the band are like... and because just things make me think of stuff to say, and it's just like a journey that we're all on, and I think music it's the most powerful essence on the planet. And apparently the earth hums to a particular note.
Yes.
And I think we as creatures respond to that kind of natural hum. I think that's in us, like all the creatures and flowers and things on the planet.
Well, I think that's why, and you use this word so much in your music, home, and under the same sky, it is that sense of us all being together and in some shape or form and being here, that collectivism.
Just because I always think there's people still going to come and see me, or people still going to come to shows, because it's so hard, like... to get people to come to shows, it's harder than ever, so I'm always really grateful. You know.
But we love you and we love your stories, right? And we're getting another song soon. Okay.
Any more questions?
Two quick fire questions, and then we're getting an incredible song. First one is Michael Cairns. This I love that there's a resonance here, because of course one of the amazing and many highlights of the most recent album, The Road Less Travels, as Horse knows, because she sent me an early copy and then she got WhatsApped all through the night.
I did actually.
It's amazing. This is a single. Every single one. She woke up to whatever. Anyway, a diatribe. Positive one. What superpower would you like to add to, and this is the best bit, Michael, add to the ones you already have? Nice touch.
Well, Paul Leonard Morgan, who's a good friend of mine, he's now composer in the States, an amazing guy, Paul. He messaged recently, so Out used Superpower as their theme tune. And he put out, oh, well, dancing's not my superpower. And I went, Paul, I'll let you into secret, nor is mine, because I'm not very good at dancing. What superpower would I like to add?
To your artillery of superpowers.
Oh, God. Making money would be great. Enough money to be able to keep doing this, because it's a struggle sometimes. I don't know. I think one of my superpowers is kindness and giving. I think, and I don't know if I can add any more to that, because I feel like I'm blessed by my music and I get great joy from my music. And I think that's it.
I think you're absolutely right. And there is no more illustrative song about that and about kindness than the song you're going to play last. And before you play it, I want to ask you, Careful has been such an important song in so many ways to so many people. Has it been as kind a friend to you as it has to us?
It's my way, obviously, and it's been done in very different ways.
Will Young covered it, didn't he, as well?
Will Young sang it at Glastonbury, and different Sasha, Brothers in Rhythm. It's a song that we tried to record it, and I hated it because it was the full band and it sounded awful. Wow. I've got the demo somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe I'll release a single again of Careful when it was due out, which I think is October time.
Yes, right.
And what I'll try and do is I'll try and find that original demo.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
I know, but it just sounds not right.
Yeah.
And Pete knew I love strings, I love the orchestrations and all of that sort of stuff. So we ended up with just 12 strings and the voice. And it took away anything extraneous. And Audrey Riley's string arrangement is beautiful.
It's stunning.
And we nearly had Anne Dudley from Art of Noise, and I was like, Anne Dudley, because I loved Art of Noise.
ABC as well, right?
Oh yes, that was one of the first ones. But so we asked, and she was like $5,000 a track, and at that time that was too much money. So we ended up with Audrey, and it's a blessing because she did such a. The string arrangement is used in teaching situations all over the country. People use it to show people that kind of that dance between a melody and the strings. I think of Careful, the original version, as being like a dance between the voice and the strings, and it's beautiful. It's just lovely. Just the movement in it is amazing. But it's one that has surprised me because I didn't feel for it.
Okay.
When it was done, I thrilled to bits. I sat in the studio with the 12 players, including Sally Herbert, who is now a massive string arranger for various people. And I wrote a song with her actually as well. But yeah, so sitting in amongst all the strings, it was the most beautiful moment for me as a singer. But even I had to come out and let them finish it, and then I sang to it. If you listen to the original version, this is really interesting. I'll try and make this quick. Paul's probably banging to get in. Yeah. I'll go as quick as I can.
Paul, let bang. Yeah. Door's locked.
Let them. But at the end of that so many stressful moments, like I was saying to you, and I was singing it beautifully. Pete went off and left the two engineers, Sven and Carl. I messaged one of them recently, Sven, and so I'm singing away, and the two of them were responsible for recording the main vocal. And you know the long note at the very end, right? You hear, if you listen very carefully, you hear my heart going.
Really?
Yeah, because Sven and Carl were smoking joints or whatever, and I went, my mix has changed, Pete, and he went, what the fuck? And all I could see was this window, and Steve Smith throttling the engineer. So basically, my heart went gadum when I had to sing it because he came and stood beside me.
My God. Okay. Do you know it's such a peaceful song? Who knew it was so dramatic? There was like a
God.
fight going on in the
Totally.
background. Well, listen.
Let
I'll
me
come
do
back
this.
on at the end. But listen, I mean, what a woman, what a voice. Thank you so much for coming as well. Really. We need to hear that reissue of the single, do we not? More cheating.
I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to sing it a cappella. Sunshine on your upturned face, everything falls into place. Blue sky above, sand underfoot, the happiest I have seen you look. Sunrise stir on a low landscape, more beauty than your breath can take. Boats out to sea, goes in the air. I might look as if I didn't care. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart. When you're out of reach from it, when you're out of reach from it. Fool or wise, no in between. I've been both and I can't win. If this love should suffer sudden death, it won't be because I'm not myself. I don't forget, I depend upon the simple fact you turn my heart over, 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 over. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart. When you're out of reach from it, when you're out of reach from it. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart. When you're out of reach from it, when you're out of reach. Careful with me, careful with me. Ooh, sunshine on your upturned face, everything falls into place, and blue sky above, and everything falls into place. I love your upturned face. Sunshine on your upturned face.
Who is that? It is Horse!
Where would we be without her? The glorious Horse, recorded live at the Stand in Edinburgh last year. Thank you so much again if you were in our fab audience. And thanks also to Lee, Richie and Steve, absolute heroes. And to Tommy, Eva, Tammy and all the gang at the Stand. Horse is live at Glasgow Barrowlands on January the 23rd with the Scottish Chamber Orchestra. That's part of Celtic Connections. She's also live at MacArts and Galashiels on March the 20th. There is so much other brilliant stuff, as always, at Celtic Connections this year. Catherine Joseph and Lomond Campbell are at Oranmore on Sunday, January the 18th. You can listen back to her Kick Up the Art special if you fancy. Joe Mango's at the Hug and Pint with Adam the day before. You can listen back to our episode with Emma Pollock and Amy Duncan. That was recorded at the Scottish Mental Health Arts Festival a few weeks back. Emma's also at Celtic Connections with the phenomenal Henhouse Collective at Tramway on January the 30th. They're playing with Lacuna's Music Society, starring actor and singer Blythe Duff. And you can listen back to our episode with Blythe's former Taggart co-star Colin McCready if you're so inclined. Rhymes and Reels is at the Macintosh Church. That's on January the 27th. It stars Esther Swift and Jackie Kay. You can listen to my chat with Esther from last year's East Neuk Festival if you like. And it also features Liz Lockhead. I chatted to her with Steve Ketley, whose Cold Blast Orchestra are playing at Glasgow Royal Concert Hall on January 17th, there's an episode for that, if you so wish. There's also a Celtic Connections, a Kick Up the Arts special to listen to with Corinne Polwart and Sue Lee from last year. This year, Corinne's at Glasgow Royal Concert Hall with Chris Drever, Laurie Watson, Greg Lawson and loads more on January the 16th. And Sue's gigs, among others, include that Rhymes and Reels event I mentioned, and guess what? With Horse, as part of the Scottish Chamber Orchestra at the Barrowlands. Everything is connected. Thank you so much as ever for listening, and if you're going to any of those gigs, see you there.